we need to understand what faith is if we're going to engage in it. I'm talking about the journey of faith. Imagine if I said to you, why don't you take a trip to New York City? And one of the routes you can take is through the Holland Tunnel. And you may say, well, I've never been there before. Holland Tunnel, what's that? And then I say to you, to give you a reassurance, I'm going to give you 3 landmarks that when you pass those landmarks, it'll let you know you're on the right track to New York City through the Holland Tunnel. Same way, if we're going to use faith to appropriate all of God's promises, to be able to see miracles take place in our lives, in order to be able to find deliverance or breakthrough or to get blessings, whatever we need to acquire from God, faith is the currency that heaven uses. And so if I say to you, since you're on this journey of faith, let me give you 3 landmarks or 3 ingredients or 3 steps that you must take in order to know when you're using faith. Here are the 3 landmarks or steps or signs or ingredients, whichever term you like to use, but I want you to understand, you and I, we must be able to know what faith is and know how to use it. Here are 3 ingredients to faith. Faith is required, or is what's required to use faith is knowledge. Say the word with me, please, knowledge. Second ingredient is believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. Would you repeat that word? Believe. And the third is assent, A-S-S-E-N-T, or action. Say that word, assent. So those are 3 landmarks or 3 ingredients to faith. And every one of us, there are things in our lives right now that we need to reach a little bit farther. We need to be able to muster up the faith in order to get those things. For some, it's a business deal. For others, it's a degree that you need to finish up, and you feel like, man, I don't have everything that I need. It's tough. This schoolwork is beating me up. I need God's help. For others, it's a relationship that's failing, and you need God's intervention to see that relationship come through where it's healthy. For others, it's a financial need. For others, it's a medical issue. For others, it may be a ministry need. Whatever it is, there are things in each of our lives that are outside of our reach. We don't have enough money. We don't know the right people. We don't have the right skills. We don't have all of what we need. And there's a gap between where we are and where that goal is, and that gap is called faith. And if God does not show up, we're in a whole lot of trouble. Am I speaking to the right people today? Just want to make sure, because some of you look like everything's all together. But I'm thankful that I know better than that. Faith, it means to trust God. Faith means to what? To trust God. Now, I remember years ago when I first accepted Christ as Savior. I was 20 years old. That's about 3 years ago. But I was 20 years old, and I didn't understand. I kept hearing that word, faith, faith, faith. Wherever I went, my church, they would talk about it. I didn't understand it, so I went up to one of the older men, and I said, would you tell me what faith is, please? He said, believe God, brother, believe God. I said, what does that mean? He said, have faith, have faith. So I walked away feeling like an idiot. I didn't understand what in the world he's talking about. I still did not get it. And so we need to then understand it. So after the years went on, I wrestled with the scripture to try to understand what faith is. And I came up with this acronym. Each letter stands for a word that helps me understand faith. F-A-I-T-H. Faith means full assurance in the heart. When you're moving in faith, you have full assurance in the heart. That's what faith is. I know what faith is, but what are the ingredients of faith? How do I get there? How do I use faith to get the blessings that I need? How do I use faith to engage God, since God says without faith it is impossible to please Him? This man here who's paralytic or paralyzed, part of his body, we know at least his legs were paralyzed, and so we understand he used faith. Jesus commended him for that, and then he received the end result of his faith, the setting free of his body and the paralysis in his body. He got healed. And so faith is important. The 3 ingredients: knowledge, believe, assent. Knowledge is important because you can't have faith if you don't know what you're having faith in or what you're having faith about. You can't. A man cannot believe that which he doesn't know.